Okay.
How are you feeling?
I'm so drained. I
husk.
don't even know. I can't even.
It's a miracle actually we're here.
Yeah.
Am I even in the camera, do you reckon?
I was just thinking that. Should I have a little look around?
I think if you go more that
we're
way.
sorry we didn't do a video last week and this time. Oh yeah, we are because I did a 1.5.
Oh, yeah, great.
0.5% zoom.
Yeah,
Okay.
look, we are falling to pieces.
We're fully broken. It's the final week of the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Please come see our shows.
Thank you to everyone who has come and seen us as well.
Yeah, when people leave and they put their hand on my shoulder and they say, "I'm in the chorus line," and including one person who said, "I'm the only straight man in the chorus line," and I said, "That means a lot." Actually, his wife was the one who told me.
Really?
She said, "This is the only straight man in the chorus line."
And it is whispered. It's never like, "I'm chorus line." It's
it's like,
by the way, I'm in the chorus line. And you know, what we do
as if it's illegal in Australia.
It
is how it feels.
It's actually illegal to be.
You should only be listening
podcast.
to. I was trying to think of you can only listen to Between Two Beers.
On the brink. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I would classify that as a gay podcast, actually.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Matthew Richards one. Anyway, cue
Theme song. I'm sorry, Mom. It's not a phase. It's the male gaze. They're both male and they're both gay. The male gaze.
Hell yeah. Welcome to this week's episode of
The male gaze.
And we're so sorry about last week, but you know, it's true to form, isn't it?
Yes.
We dropped the ball a little bit.
We
and
did drop
I
the ball.
fully dropped it.
Yeah.
It was me. 2 hands drop on my foot. It was just a crazy week.
And so, and it continues to be a crazy week. We record this currently in the dining room of Chris and Guy's Airbnb in these minutes remaining before Chris's husband arrives, Guy's fiance arrives, Guy's stepdaughter arrives.
It's so crazy. It's like,
really, it's all happening.
it's all happening. I've been like cleaning the house, like changing, because I'm like, I don't want to bring Michael to my Airbnb with my disgusting sheets that I've been like rotting in during the comedy festival. So I've like had to fucking wash those. It's a whole thing.
God, every time I walk into your house though, I do think, God, the bedding looks great.
The bedding is great. I'm in linen sheets and they are scratchy in a way that I really like.
Yeah, I liked. We had the gorgeous pleasure of staying at Reese Nicholson
my
and
God.
Kyron's amazing house in Dalesford, a gay town that doesn't exist in New Zealand. We don't have a gay small town, do we?
Well, I would say I heard a rumor that Waipu is.
Okay.
But that's kind of beachy. But I hear it's kind of gay. Would love a confirmation on that.
Please tell us where the gay town
Because
is.
isn't that close to Irititi Beach?
Oh yes,
And
that makes sense.
There's sort of been like,
But that's only gay at New Year's.
yeah. But
right?
I've heard there's like gay detritus. You know, that sort of like washed ashore and made its way and settled in Waipu. Like, and because there's that Waipu Cove like cafe or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you walk in there, there's a sort of
There's a vibe.
there's an air of faggotry.
Yeah, and then you go to the toilet. There is a hole. There is a little hole.
No, it's just got this like everyone who serves you there gives you a sort of wink, and it's quite nice.
Did you think the gay gore thing was true?
100% real.
Same. Isn't that so amazing that a joke?
So for context for anyone born in 2015 who listens to the podcast,
10. They're 10 years old.
yeah, and they found us, and it was an appropriate podcast to listen to.
yeah. Thanks for listening.
That's shocking.
And you'll love an upcoming segment about chem sex.
Okay, so what year then? 2010?
Yeah, 2010. You'd be 15.
15.
You'd be 15. That's fine. Welcome.
So Jeremy Wells, Eating Media Lunch.
Yeah.
They did a who's the Taskmaster? I don't know why I'm giving you all this context. I'm like, I just constantly think about our one Icelandic fan, and then being like, what the fuck are they talking about?
And Mikey Havoc, who you don't know from anything currently, but a big name at the time. Hope he's not listening.
big chorus line member.
Big chorus line
Mikey
member.
Havoc comes up. I'm in the chorus line. It was a sort of a news parody show, and they made up this rumor that Gore was the gay capital of New Zealand.
It was a fake news story. That the first gay man in New Zealand was from Gore, and that it was a big gay capital, which had lasting damage on Mike Puru as covered in Queer Aotearoa. Because he is gay and he's from Gore, and he said, like, the jokes were just like...
Really?
Because anytime he told people he was from
like,
Gore, they were like, you must be gay Gore, and then he was in the closet, and
And that is a real sign of, like, legacy media, like only having kind of one new, like you just go to the TV, watch the show, and then like a rumor could spread.
And it also feels like one of those, like Tina Fey saying, I can see Alaska from my house. And then people were like, people think that's a real Sarah Palin quote. Like people think Paddy Gower saying, this is the fucking news, happened on the news, when it was actually a skit for a capping show. You know, this is one of those things that is a joke, and then somehow in our
Paddy
memory...
Gower has made a career from that it is misinformation. It is actually he's peddling misinformation.
And I will say, as his colleague, he's built his career on lies. He doesn't deserve anything he's got.
I would love to set up a rumor, actually, a sort of like, you know, or a bit of like misinformation, but like healthy
just
stuff.
Something chill, like the vaccine turns into a robot.
No, but like, I don't know, like we're on the rocks, the pod's on the rocks. Or,
oh my god,
just something that.
Oh my god, it'd be so good if a feud slowly, like if we pre-planned a feud that came out slowly on the pod,
or like contractually, only one of us is allowed to be on TV at a time, or something,
wow,
or like just
great.
something like we had a meeting with, just like let's get something up and going that people are like, did you know this?
I'm addicted to a rumor when there's like a duo, like a radio duo or a comedy duo, and then people are like, did you know they never hang out in real life? I love that.
And we hang out.
Yeah.
We hang out.
We hang out outside of this pod quite a bit at the festival.
Yeah. So let's go into Gays in the Country. So we hung out with, this is so funny to not have Reese a part of this conversation, but we went out to their country house in Dalesford, which is a gorgeous gay town, but the bedding there was unbelievable. We both had a great night's sleep. Separate beds.
Sleep. And specifically because I am in my Airbnb, this situation, and why does this happen all over Australia? It's a flat sheet on the mattress, so not a fitted sheet underneath me.
That shit drives me crazy. You can do that if you run a hotel.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but you can do it.
So
if you're running an Airbnb...
Make me feel at home. I'm here for a month.
That's why we booked an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Because we're living in someone's home.
But then I've got a flat sheet on top of me, then not even a duvet, like a blanket, then another. I've got 3 flat sheets.
That's a nightmare.
It's a mess.
Actually, in my gay opinion, Airbnbs should have more of people's personal belongings in there.
Oh, yeah.
I think Airbnbs are turning too much into homes.
Yes, I see what you mean.
If you are daring enough to do an Airbnb,
you
have to have the balls to have not a single locked cupboard.
I know, and those cupboards need to be full to the brim.
I want to be like Target in the fucking underwear drawer, rifling through your personal belongings.
It's really changed because I think when Airbnb started, it really was like people's homes that they're putting you up in, and now it's like people are buying properties to Airbnb them, and that's
exactly.
Good morning, guys. Oh my god! Wow,
huge fan, and we're recording. Take a look, fellas.
I just want to go to the toilet.
Take a look, fellas.
Get into it. That's going to be huge. We're going to get so many likes on this clip. Yeah, no. Right at crotch level, baby. Nice undies, though. They look new.
Yeah. Guy and I, he's actually, we're both Lululemon boys now.
Oh, in the underwear department.
I've noticed from our drying rack in our gorgeous home.
I've been buying seam-free Uniqlo underwear. It's kind of crazy. They do look like bike shorts.
Yeah. Are they good, though?
Yeah, really comfy.
I don't think we talked about this.
What?
Maybe we did. Because you were like, cotton boxer shorts. I bought myself a pair.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a day in them.
Okay.
But I love them.
Sometimes I'll put them on if I know I'm not like doing any exercise, which I feel like is the one thing you really can't.
And you're
do
doing exercise a lot.
I mean, I've been hitting the gym because of the karaoke show. It's really keeping me stuck to that routine. Every time I'm like, you could miss it, I'm like, you're gonna be naked.
It's kind of. There's a lot going on in culture at the moment, gay culture. You across Coachella at the moment?
I just was watching Charlie this morning.
Yeah,
It was good. It was basically the same performance that she did it. I was like, we got it.
Yeah, we got
without the guests.
Yeah, without the guests, and we could have had Lord. I love Lord's outfit.
I know.
I was like, you look like so cool, but you also look like you could be at St. Luke's.
It was giving
running into like. But I just need to get like some.
I'm just stoned.
Stevens.
Honestly, stoned at the nail salon.
That's what she
That
was
was the
giving.
vibe she was giving. Hair looked amazing.
Hair looked amazing.
It also reminded me of Jacqueline Novak in her special. She also wears kind of like just
grey,
a grey t-shirt.
Yeah, it's so cool. It was so cool.
I did think Lord sang, I don't know, maybe half of the lyrics to her verse, and then I was just contrasting it with Lady Gaga singing every single lyric of all of her songs.
I know. I did think that. I was like, you got to put the mic to the mouth, Lord. Like, there's a lot of like mic up to the audience. But I guess it's the vibe of like doing a performance at Coachella, especially I think if you're doing a special appearance.
Yeah.
Is you're more like a puppet.
And those
you're like, I'm here.
True. And that song is not necessarily about the vocals. It's not like we're missing out on Lord.
But it is about the lyrics. And I did think when she threw her mic out to the audience and said, let's work it out on the remix, I thought to myself, fuck, that has become canon.
That's huge.
That feels like a phrase that's been around forever.
Yeah.
And Lord wrote that.
I know.
It's like, let's work it out on the remix.
I do,
like that'll be forever for the rest of time. One of the most like
we're gonna say it when we work out this feud that we haven't started yet, but we're gonna work out.
Yeah.
I did get chills when Charlie said Lord Summer 2025. I was like, it's fucking coming. And she's talking about her old ex-boyfriend in the track.
Really?
Yes, I think so. Because she's like, ever since I was 17, like that's what I got from that little snippet.
I can't wait. And I love the Snow Peak water bottle that she keeps carrying around.
It's really stunning stuff.
It's so unusual. I'm like, we're not knowing what the sort of vibe and where we're landing. You know, every day it's like, she'll delete whatever Instagram post she had and re-upload a new one, and it's like more cryptic images that you're like, I don't know what any of this means.
I can't wait to find out what it means.
I can't wait to find out.
And I love the way she's walking through that square. It's so good.
It's funny because if you look at that Coachella thing, I was like, she's not walking like a bitch there. She's walking like
a model.
Yeah, or like a just clumping down.
There he is,
fellas, take an eye.
We're going to get so many Substack subscribers.
If you want to see Guy Montgomery posing in his underwear, please subscribe to the Substack.
It's just $10 a month. Can you believe that deal?
Comedy Festival is fun. It's like hanging out with your friends all day. I can't believe it.
I just love living with David Correos. It's the best.
Really?
He wears one of those towel outfits. You know, it's like a hooded. Every time he comes out of the shower, he's in his towel hoodie. Just
like a baby,
so much like a little baby. Yeah. I love it. So sweet.
Everyone is so sweet. What did you think of? Have you watched Gaga's Coachella performance in entirety?
So on the tram here, I watched Gaga Coachella in 3 minutes on Instagram.
How long is the performance? Because I've watched it in like
little bits,
all into bits that I need to like sit down and watch it consecutively. I haven't even watched the final episode of The Pit, you guys, so you can imagine
everything's falling
apart.
White
Lotus. I've got the last episode of White Lotus.
Oh my god!
This is what's stacking up on me. This is what I was thinking about when I went to bed. I've got the last episode of White Lotus. I've got the last episode of The Pit. Gaga Cella, Brat Cella. There's a lot to get
I've got the
through.
whole of Severance, and my plan was, while I'm here, I'm going to watch the whole of Severance. Fell apart. Absolutely apart. I'm up to date on Australian Survivor, though. Finale tonight. I just messaged James Musterbick. We might watch it together.
That's the perfect thing to watch.
It's really good. It's just in one ear, out the other. Gaga, so I'm confused, though. So the Coachella thing is live streaming, right? And then I think it lives online for 24 hours, which is why I was able to watch Charlie this morning. You'll be able to watch Charlie if you go in soon, but then the video goes away. So we might have to wait until next weekend to watch the whole of Gaga.
Because you do it again.
Yeah, they do 2 weekends. They do it twice.
That's right. And do they do it exactly the same?
Well, not famously Beychella.
Yeah, exactly.
Pink hoodie instead of yellow.
Yes.
And I don't. Maybe it doesn't live stream, but someone must have bootlegged it.
Can we please end this narrative of Beychella versus Gaga? Like it doesn't. Why people seem to think
There can only be one.
that and that they are by any means comparable.
Yeah.
Like they're completely different artists who are performing on the same stage, but it's just doing. There's like you couldn't. There's nothing similar about it. Like
So bizarre.
One can't be better than the other because they're performing a very specific style of music to a very specific audience who it means a lot to. Mm-hmm. Like, I just can't stand it when they're like, oh, this is way better than Beyonce's Coachella. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And Beyonce's Coachella was, I don't know, the best live performance of all time.
Yeah. But again, it's
But
like...
I'm like, but you
but
don't need to compare them.
Is so specific as well. Like,
And Beyonce's does this very specific thing, and the visuals are all tied to sort of one idea. And Lady Gaga's is kind of like a sprawling, like doing a little bit of like so much different cool stuff.
Yeah.
I love the bit. Have you seen her in the grave?
Yeah.
That's sick.
I love
Have
her
you
dancing with that skeleton. It made me laugh a lot.
So
and it did
funny.
make me think of Brinley Stenz.
I know, Brinley
dancing with her
Stenz.
skeleton in her comedy festival show.
Soft Carnage, a few more shows in Melbourne. Go see it. But yeah, I did think Brinley's skeleton dance vehicle was a lot more operational than Gaga's skeleton was kind of flopping about too much for me.
It did look like she got it from Look Sharp.
Yeah.
Which I was like, there's not a rhinestone to be seen on that skeleton. It's
No.
like plastic, Halloween.
And it's just kind of like flopping right over. I'm like, could we put some wires in
a
this?
remarkable live artist.
The singing is crazy.
The singing is crazy.
She's hitting every single lyric.
And I'm glad that album... I get a bit nervous watching... I actually got a bit nervous watching her perform it because I think the album... that I still listen to it before every show.
Amazing.
And it's so funny because it's actually such a great album, but it's quite a silly album.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
music's quite silly.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Doesn't have a lot of meat to it.
No, or it's not like... When we talked about this before, it's not necessarily like cool. It's like campy, vampy, you know. And so when you watch her sort of being like, like doing Zombie Boy,
You
and
zombie boy.
you know, it's just you're like, oh, how's this translating?
Yeah.
Especially because I think like what Charlie does is so like
Effortlessly cool.
and so cool, and makes so much sense in that kind of like environment of like Coachella, whereas like Gaga, I'm like, you kind of want to see her in an old derelict church or something.
Yeah, being full theater girl.
Yeah. But yeah, especially Vanish Into You. I actually was like, that song for some reason I love so much. I listen to it once a day. And I just like, I've got a fan in my theater that blows, wind on me through my show, and I put the fan on.
You got about 180 fans in your theater when I was there yesterday.
139. But I stand and look at the fan.
I love that you called it the theater as well in this context.
Yeah, it's a conference room in a hotel.
It's gorgeous though. It's beautiful.
Such a great room.
It's really
Feels so
lovely.
lucky. They open the doors for you every time you walk in there because it's like a 5-star hotel. And every time they do that, I walked in every day for 3 weeks. They've gone, here to see a show? And I'm like, no, I'm here.
No,
doing
I'm a
this.
star.
I'm a star, baby. But I'm
Oh.
like, is this some sort of weird gaslighting going on? Like,
Yeah.
played some mind trickeries here. It's fucking me up.
And some nights you might be watching something there after your show.
How
There's
did-
also a string section sometimes in that hotel. Well, have you been there when there's been?
No.
Yeah, I've been there when there's been like a string section in the bar area, and you can
that's
kind of hear it in the theaters as well.
We've had such great weather in Melbourne too. We had the oh my god, I went to the Fitzroy Pools yesterday. I mean, I was at peak tired. And the weather was
Yeah.
like 32 degrees. It was so hot,
Crazy.
so hot. Your eyeballs felt like they were cooking. Do you know that feeling?
I know
It's like,
exactly
oh,
what
I've
you're
got
talking about.
warm eyeballs,
Yeah.
and I went swimming. Clocked 1.2 Ks. I was pretty
Congratulations.
tired, but I was like, I haven't hit my 2K yet, but I did 1.7, which I thought was
Okay, you're
pretty
really close.
so close.
And the
But
only thing
I'm
standing
getting
in your
tired.
way now is that your husband is arriving today, and, it's
I'm
the
the
last week of the
tightest I've
festival.
ever been. It's not happening. But
Yeah.
I'm going to continue swimming when I'm back in Auckland. Shout out, please, if you've got a great pool I can swim at. Like, I'm thinking tepid baths,
Yeah.
but it's a 25-meter pool, I think, and I'm desperate for 50 Because the admin of turning around is a pain in the ass, and you've got to count more. And
True.
50 would be great, but
how much long is Parnell already closed? Is it?
it's going to be cold. It will be so cold.
It'll be freezing.
The vibe at Fitzroy Pool. I mean, I talk about this every time, but it was electric. I've never been there on a 30-degree day.
Yeah.
Packed.
Everyone's out.
Everyone's there. No one's in the pool, so you can swim perfectly.
Yeah.
There was like 2 people in my lane.
Wow.
Everyone is cooking under the sun in their little Speedos, gossiping with their little, and there's girls having the craziest conversation beside me, and I was listening to every word of it.
What was you talking about?
She was like, okay, well, he looks me in the eyes and he says, baby, with this connection, I want to trust you with my whole seed.
Oh my God.
And the other girls went, oh my God, no, you can't say that. And I was like, I was so desperate to be like, hi, can I just listen to this?
Yeah. That's the podcast.
Hey
that I
girls,
wanna
can you
listen
get a
to.
podcast?
Wait, what does it mean, trust you with my whole seed? Does that mean I don't want to use a condom?
I
Is
think
that
he
what it
wanted
means?
to dump his whole seed in her.
I respect that more than I'm allergic to condoms.
Yeah, true.
I want to trust you with my whole seed.
Horrific, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so intense.
I know.
Can I just have some of it?
But they'll have. She was talking so loudly at the Fitzroy pools.
Yeah,
I mean,
hell
that's
yeah.
the original podcast, isn't it? Is girlies at the pools.
Girlies at the pools.
Talking loudly.
There should be a podcast called Girlies at the Pools.
Yeah, exactly.
Surely. The pool culture is so much bigger in Australia in general, because I think Sydney's full of a lot of, all the parks have a pool inside, and no one's really. I was here. Joseph Moore famously hates getting in the water, hates being in his togs, but he said he had the best day of his life at a pool in Sydney because no one's really there, so you can bring beers even though they're not technically allowed. You can just have a splash around.
Hey, we're going to do a fact of the gay now. Kind of interesting though. We've got a new twist on it. It's actually you're actually going to learn something.
You're actually someone who really knows what they're talking about is going to tell you some facts.
They're not going to read it off their phone. No, well, we learn a lot through your fact of the gays, but this one's really cool. We've already had this conversation, so we're going to clip it up into little chunks. And I can promise you it's a very enlightening and very interesting conversation. It's with Sean Hill from Rewired program.
And it's all about chemsex, which is kind of sounds like, if you don't know a lot about it, might sound like a scary topic, but we had a very enlightening and awesome conversation.
Full disclosure, this is like a brand deal, a paid partnership. I don't know, however you want to call it. It's with the work that they do, they're kind of advertising through us to have this conversation. However, I will also say it was a very enlightening conversation. So
it's not us talking about Coke.
It's
not a brand deal with
it's a
Burger
brand deal
King.
with cocaine.
I mean like Coca-Cola. I was like, full disclosure, it's a brand deal, and then it's 15 minutes of us being like,
every sponsor post was like, and we've got this amazing brand deal with Zuru toys, and it's an amazing conversation about how kids love hanging out playing with toys.
it's a really safe space.
Anyway, this is a little bit of our conversation with Sean Hill from the Rewired program, and it is today's Fact of the Gay.
Fact of the Gay.
Kia ora, Sean Hill from Rewired. Thank you so much and welcome to the Male Gaze. How are you?
Doing A-okay. Standard Monday vibes, slightly over-caffeinated, but I feel like that fits the energy for any kind of podcast.
Yeah, it's a perfect conversation for a Monday morning.
Exactly.
I would love to know, first and foremost, what is Rewired and what is the work that you all do there?
Rewired is our program designed to help queer men or other men who have sex with men change their relationship with predominantly methamphetamine and the kind of party and play scene. So you might have heard a few different kind of terms bandied around: chemsex, party and play, wired fun, high and horny, all of that. Essentially, people who combine sex and drugs in an intentional way. So we're predominantly a mutual aid support group. So think like your AAs, NAs, Smart Recovery, where people can come together, talk about a common problem, and help kind of work through whatever changes they might want to make to it. We also do a bunch of kind of sponsored harm reduction content and such, and resource creation, and a whole bunch of workforce training and development as well, mostly focused around sexual health and alcohol and other drug services.
I feel like Chris and I both came into this conversation being like, we're pretty green, we don't know anything about this. But then when you describe chemsex, and what's the boundaries of chemsex? How broad is it? Which drugs is it? Have I done it or not? I'm not sure.
I've had Barocca. Does that count?
Yeah, I've had a coffee and then gone for it.
A coffee and a morning wank. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Sean. It's actually really inappropriate.
Hey, encourage it. Love that. Okay. When we talk about kind of Kimset's party and play, like in its traditional form, jury is still kind of out. It kind of changes depending on who you're asking. It kind of changes depending on what field you're coming at it from. The easiest way to think about it is the kind of big three that often get termed with Chemsex are your methamphetamine, GHB, GBL, 1,4-BD, your G-type drugs, and your kind of synthetic cathinones, mostly stuff like methadone. So pretty much anything that's going to bring you up and help reduce inhibitions and get you hornier, etc., is where we're kind of thinking about it.
Can you do the ones that start with G again?
GBL, GHB, and 1,4-BD.
So do these have like nicknames that people might sort of know them more colloquially by or something? I've never... I mean, it's just showing you my sort of like
the greenhorn vibe. It's okay.
Chamomile tea vibe, but I'm sure like I've been in circles or been around where these like names have been bandied about.
Like on the street, probably more commonly known as just G, Waz, Juice, Liquid Ecstasy, Fantasy. All of these are the kind of common ones. In the gay scene, probably just G. We refer to all three.
I think we hear a lot about this.
Yeah, we refer to all three, but you know, it's mostly GBL and 1,4-BD on the scene right now.
And G is, and look, I'll say this have I experienced this? Who's to say? Cannot confirm or deny.
Nice.
But
off the
you've got to
record.
be very careful, right? The one time I've seen G being administered between people, it was like a science project. It was like droplet, making sure you're getting the exact right amount, because it's like you don't want to get too much of that.
Correct. So G is one of our technically depressant drugs, although it has very similar effects to alcohol. That's what people use it for mostly. I'd say it's the best kind of anchor point would be like alcohol, but with a bit more of like a stimulant kind of buzz, and with a lot more of a focus on the kind of sex aspect, is where it gets commonly used. Like people talk about it making them really horny, reducing inhibitions and such. And like you're saying, it is very tricky to dose. Differences from like an active dose and an overdose can be as little as like a couple of milliliters, even less than that.
Because this feels like a culture that we sort of hear of happening. Like, I feel like so much of the gay scene, specifically in Aotearoa, is like, oh, well, that's happening in the clubs in like the States or whatever. But it's not necessarily like, well, we don't have a gay scene here. Or, that's how we like to sort of, it's that sort of humble pie that we look to play down here. I mean, is it happening? Is it happening in Aotearoa?
Yeah, definitely happening in Aotearoa. People have been combining sex and drugs for ages and ages and ages. I would say it's something that feels a bit more underground because of a lot of different reasons, stigma being the main one of this. It's really difficult to talk about something where when meth is one of the primary drugs used, New Zealanders absolutely despise talking about it, or have a really kind of demonized approach to it. So you get people who might be using it and will absolutely just shut down any conversations about it, or don't want to explore it or address it, or makes it really hard if you're experiencing problems to explore it too. G is that kind of bridger between that of folks might be using it in club dances like raves, etc., and probably is not more common, but would be something that folks would, I guess, latch on to a little bit more as an easy go-between for those things. And those are probably the most common ones that we see here in Aotearoa, meth and G.
So when you talk about shutting down conversations as well, this feels like the antithesis of the work that you're doing.
Very much so. So we take a very harm reduction oriented approach, harm reduction being, accepting that people are going to be doing drugs and working with them to make sure that they can do so in a safe manner, one that kind of maximizes your pleasure and minimizes any harm. So making sure they can do things like, well, we were talking about with G earlier, helping to dose appropriately and know kind of what a typical dose actually looks like so they're not overdosing. It's making sure that people have accurate science and evidence-based information so that they can be making informed choices about any use that they're doing, and help to work towards minimizing any kind of consequences it might have on their wider life as well. And for Rewired in particular, it's about providing space for people to really unpack those things and actually talk about it and earnest, stigma-free way, because you don't really get a lot of opportunities for that in your day-to-day life.
I mean, what does that space look like? Like, what is it? A program? Is it how does it actually work?
So Rewired specifically and how it kind of works, it's an 8-week program. So we essentially encourage people to come in, encourage people to come along for as many of those 8 weeks as they can. And each week we'll have kind of a set topic where we're sitting down to discuss something that's related to the common experiences that we're hearing from guys who are partying, all of the kind of potential issues or problems that they might be facing, and want space to kind of talk about what is happening in their lives around these things, any changes that they might want to be making, whether that be working towards abstinence, whether that be finding ways to use safer so it's minimizing any consequences in their wider life, or carry on using in the way that they are, but just with some extra tips, tools, and strategies so that they can help to ensure that it doesn't grow into something that becomes a problem later on. So it usually just looks like people sitting around in a circle talking about a lot of queer, sex, and drugs related stuff, both in their lives and in our wider communities as well. Like we often talk about, things like hookup cultures and how we approach sex and things like that, and how that might be feeding into what's going on for us personally, or the kind of cultural backdrop that's sitting around us too.
Do you think this is something that just sort of creeps up on you? Like that you'll maybe not be aware of, like you're sort of the use of drugs in sort of your sex life? Like how does that sort of manifest? If maybe it's something like, oh, I didn't realize I maybe wanted to have this conversation, and I've had these encounters recently where I'm like, oh, actually it would be good to know about this, because it's not this. I mean, from what I'm hearing from the program, it's not like we're not talking about people who are like right at the end of the spectrum either. It could be like at any point where you're wanting to know more or understand your relationship with it. So what are these kind of like early signs looking like?
Great. It's everyone who's across that whole spectrum of use. Some of the early signs might be things like with any other kind of addictive quality, like when you're starting to desire spending more time with drug use and with people that are using drugs versus kind of other important activities in your life. It might look like you're kind of slipping away from friends, or like work and other related responsibilities are kind of falling away. It can look like you being unsatisfied with the type of sex that you're having while you're using as well. There's a lot of folks who use for connection as its kind of primary driver there, but a lot of people can become quite disillusioned, I'd say, with the type of sex that's happening in those environments. It can also look like, you're spending much more than you anticipate. It's really often easy to be buying a lot of this stuff and then not actually paying attention to what's coming out of the account, as we've heard quite recently from a couple of the folks attending Rewired. And then you get to reflect on all of that kind of, full accounting rundown, and it's like, oh, fuck, that's $1,000 down the drain there, 2,000 there, 3,000 there kind of thing. And it's starting to spiral a little bit. That's when you can start to look at, oh, maybe I could make some changes about this, or maybe I could talk to someone about it. And that could look like coming along to a Rewired group. It could look like signing up for a peer check-in through our site as well, and having just a conversation with a peer to go through our reflection tool and talking a little bit
sounds
more detail.
amazing.
Yeah, exactly that.
What's the peer reflection tool?
Yeah, how does that work?
It's something we're working on more actively right now, but we've got it up on the site, of just a tool of about 19 different questions. All of them are things that are either kind of associated with problems that people have shared in the groups, or things that people have highlighted and we hear as a really repeated theme coming out of Rewired. Just a simple yes, no, I don't know, and you just tally it up at the end. And any of those kind of yes answers might be an area that you want to do a little bit more reflection on, or might want to make some changes in. And just later this week, we're meeting to talk about turning it into a more interactive tool as well. So you'll be able to get a proper kind of printout or PDF of all of the answers that you had, how it's kind of shaping up for you, and be able to say, take that along to an AOD assessment, or just have conversations with folks that are important in your life to say, hey, I have noticed these things are impacting me in ways I don't want. I'd like to get a bit of support around this.
Nice. So sure, sometimes the gay world can be very scary, especially for young people entering a space like Grindr for the first time. Lots of language that you're like, what am I going to? What is this event going to be? What is the language that people use on an app like that would let you know that party and play is what's on. I mean, obviously, party and play is one of the phrases, but are there other terms?
Never. Is that what PNP is?
Yeah.
PNP.
Right.
There we go. We learn something new every day. A lot
I
of the
know.
kind of
Writing it down.
common terms that we see thrown around on there will be PNP, H&H, or high and horny.
Oh, that's a great album name.
Sean and the High and Hornies? What?
Next comedy festival show.
Like high and horny or high fun is something that we see coming out of a lot of our Asian countries as well. Wired play is something that mostly comes from Australia, but we see a little bit over here. Obviously, we're a little bit of a cultural melting pot, so we take things from everywhere. A lot of emojis as well. It can be, your snowflake or diamond emojis start to indicate meth. Like
Oh my
rocket
God, I
ships.
thought they meant like a woke snowflake.
Looking for a woke
Looking for a woke snowflake to live out with.
to read The Guardian with. And there are early signs of when you are having sex and reading The Guardian.
And there's a different program for that.
Oh my God. You also get things like rocket ship emojis and stuff like that that refer to a particular kind of like party and play, like blasting or slamming or basically injecting use. Gear as well, like an actual little like gear symbol is something that often gets thrown around too.
A gear symbol.
Yeah.
Like quite literally a little cog like you would see in a machine, the gear
Gotcha.
emoji.
Like the settings.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
If you've got someone in your life who's doing a bit of this and you think it's tipping over, like you're worried about them, it's affecting their personal life, what would you say is the best way to look out for your friend?
Have a bit of a reflection up front for yourself, actually, of what am I expecting out of this conversation? Why am I having this? Have I decided this is a problem for them, but they're maybe not kind of seeing it that way, or they're not expressing any issues with it? Just because they are engaged in party and play doesn't mean that it's necessarily a problem. But if there have been signs that you've been noticing, the ones that we were talking about earlier, for example, leading with open empathy and curiosity, having a lot of focus on I statements is something I quite like, and broad open-ended questions of, I've noticed that I haven't been able to reach you quite as much lately, and it's been making me feel X. Giving them power to be able to end the conversation if it's not something that they're wanting to have at that moment, and being prepared to have it more than once are also things that I consider in this space. There's a really significant amount of stigma with it, and it might take a lot of active, earnest work on your part to be able to make sure that they feel safe and comfortable expressing it with you. And particularly when you've got other layers of stigma on top of it, of people feeling judged about their sex lives, for example, people feeling judged for being gay or queer in any respect. You've got these layers starting to come in, and that complicates it so much more. So just being aware of those things as you're going into it, and giving as much agency and power to them in the conversation as you possibly can.
Is this also some of the work that Rewired does? Like, do you work with people who want to help reach out to their friends or their community about how to open up this conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of why we're doing stuff like this. But also, I'm always
We're
welcome.
a part of it.
Yeah, welcome to the club. We've done a couple of articles with Burnett Foundation, for example, tackling exactly these topics, so we can redirect people towards there. I always plug something like Smart Recovery, their kind of family and friends program. There's a lot of different spaces accessible online around that that are explicitly designed for people supporting people who are using drugs.
This has been such good advice, Sean.
No, it has been,
So good.
What is the first point of contact in terms of the Rewired program? Where can they go? How can they reach out?
rewired.org.nz. There's a range of different things you can do there. You can sign directly up for any of the groups and see when the next available ones are. Currently 29th of April, Tuesday evening, 6:30 to 8 p.m. I'll just plug that right here. Then we've also just got the ability to reach out to our simple hello inbox, hello@rewired.org.nz, if people have more general questions or want to be pointed in the right direction towards stuff.
Sean, we've never had this conversation, Eli and I, before.
Never.
And this has been such a enlightening and positive and constructive conversation. And I really hope that if this conversation has connected with anyone, that, they feel encouraged to reach out and contact you at Rewired.
Thank you so much.
And that was the fact of the gay. Thank you so much, Sean Hill.
What a weight off your shoulders.
Oh yeah,
Tonight,
it's
Jack.
delightful.
I'm glad.
I don't have to go to my usual source, Eddie Diver.
We're like moments away from my husband arriving.
Is Mark
I've only
in the
seen him for
taxi?
2 days in the past 8 weeks.
Yeah, because he was away.
He was away too.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's so good.
But I do. I mean,
When do you go to the hotel? Not that I need to know exactly the moment you're having sex.
I'm going to say, Eli, by 1 p.m., I'll be trusting him so much. I have no idea. It is a very funny thing when you're staying in like a shared ACOM thing and you're like, it's been this like unwritten contract between Guy and I like over all the years that we do it. We're like, yeah, and then we've booked a hotel for this night, and you're like, so nice, man.
Yeah,
Like,
have fun. Be thinking of you.
and then it's like, and we'll just need one night at the hotel, and we'll be fine for the rest of the stay.
Just get it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, Sam came over last year and we did that. Sam's brother works in hotels here, so we would get a great deal.
Oh, that's a great deal.
But Sam's not coming this time, so it's just me and my accommodation.
With the construction workers watching from the windows.
We really thought today, we're recording this on Monday, and the
Yeah.
first weekend, they did it on Saturday. We were like, oh my God, this is going to be every day. They didn't do construction on Sunday. We can sleep in Sunday. They didn't do it on Monday, and we were like, oh, we get Mondays off. But then since then,
It's been every Monday.
Every Monday.
And I've just realized you've got Easter.
Easter's coming up.
Fuck, I love Easter.
Same.
I think it's the best one. It's like, I mean, so obviously beyond like whatever, but in terms
Religious.
of like themes and foods, first of all, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And it's like right when you're like, I actually needed a break.
Yeah.
Then you've got eggs, chocolate eggs, delicious.
So good. Hot cross buns. Are you
Hot cross
kidding
buns,
me?
they're in the mix.
Yeah.
The theme is sort of like family time, but also like not too intense. No presents.
And I like that it's bridging sort of summer to winter. You know, it's
Yeah.
like right in the pocket
Exactly. And it's like, we're going to do a brunch or we're doing a lunch.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're doing a big Easter dinner.
there. No.
And even the kind of church vibe of it is like, you know, interesting. You got your Palm Sunday. You got your Ash Wednesday. Is that not Easter?
You're speaking about things I actually don't know about from my rock band church. Maybe this is more Catholic.
I went at because I went to that high Anglican intermediate school as well. We did this thing called Palm Sunday where they give you they give you a palm cross, like a flax.
They give you a chocolate egg made from palm oil.
Palm oil. Now you hold on to the little cross for
Yeah.
a whole year, and then they burn it, turn it into ash, and then they put like a little ash dash on your forehead.
Wow.
And
like Simba.
yeah, and I remember like at school them doing that and me being like, well, I'm never gonna remember to bring that cross.
Yeah.
I was like 11. I was like, I'm losing this.
Sweetie, I can't even keep my Tamagotchi alive. Are you kidding me? Keep this whole cross for a year.
Someone opened their set at the comedy festival the other day being like, we've got to wrap this up. I've got to feed my Tamagotchi backstage. And I was like, that's so funny.
That is funny.
So funny.
I love little lines. But I love when people check their phone to say how much time they have and what they say then. I remember seeing Jen Fricker say, sorry, just selling something on eBay.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
God, I love, I mean,
Do you have any funny lines when you drink the worst thing a comedian can ever experience is having a sip of water on stage.
At the wrong time.
I can't work it out.
people you normally say, you're normally meant to take a sip during a big laugh, but unfortunately I'm just too thirsty and I can't think of the big laugh that's coming. I can't predict when the next big
Well, the
laugh
worst
is
is when
coming.
you're like, I'm going to do it on that big laugh, and then the big laugh is like more of a smaller laugh, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going for the sip anyway.
My favorite genre in Melbourne is, of course, you do this, I do this. Sort of 2 minutes about the room up top.
Got to talk about the
Because
room.
all the spaces are converted into mine looks like Severance. It's like fully an office room. There's bookshelves with like textbooks that are creeping out from above the black curtains.
God, I love.
And then I always do an impression of Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl when she stands in the corner and I say, this is me backstage. And there's always like two people who've seen Baby Girl, but
That's enough.
they get into
That's
it.
great.
They get into it.
God, and then we've got the New Zealand Comedy Festival coming up. Sorry, this is such a like comedy festival plug, but I do just want to tell people to go see stuff in the comedy festival. I
Heaps
just
of good
feels like,
stuff.
guys, the vibe in New Zealand is crazy. Like, what are we gonna do? I'm like, I know there's like there's a lot of like, there's still great stuff happening in this city, but this festival lineup is so good.
It's really awesome.
And it does truly feel like across the board for everyone, ticket sales have never been lower. And I know what that is. And that is a cost of living crisis, a government who decided, oh, we're all pro economy and
We're not supporting the arts.
have devastated like fucking everything, including like everyone's like, well-being infrastructure.
And every aspect of it has got more expensive. Like it's more expensive for the comedy festival to put this on, which means some of that cost is being passed on to the performers, which means ticket prices may have gone up a couple of dollars, which then is passed. Like, just know, no one is overcharging.
You promise.
Everyone is charging what they have to charge.
But I'm like, God, I so root for Auckland and New Zealand and Wellington and Christchurch and all these places. I really want them to have like we need a champion. Like maybe we set up because I really want to do like a newsletter, but I can't be fucked. But
Printed or emailed?
Printed.
Yeah, like coffee news.
Yeah, called Fabulosity.
Stunning.
And it's about like what's fabulous in the city.
Yeah. A little bit of gossip in there.
A little bit of gossip. I guess who don't
that
sue.
full seed.
Full seed.
Overheard at the polls.
So like, I don't know, maybe it's worth kind of, I just think we need, rumours back up and running. We need party nights. We need, events.
I would say what I am really trying to do this year, stay for a couple of drinks after the show. They don't have to be alcoholic, but I think you have some of the best chats of your life out the front of a theatre or a bar after you've watched a show.
That's
or been in a show.
Amazing social awareness campaign.
Yeah.
Hey, when you go out, stay for a couple of drinks after the show.
Exactly.
That's all it's got to be. For the price of $30,
Yeah.
you can single-handedly revive the energy of the
Whole
city.
industry, keep the venues alive.
I love a bustling
the
city.
performers alive. It's gorgeous.
I love a bustling
Nothing feels
city.
better.
We need a bustling city.
Do you have a Queen of the Week?
Queen of the Week.
Well, it's kind of like, do we go Gaga, Charlie, Lord? I'm thinking Lord.
Yeah.
I think it's worth.
I think dropping 15 seconds of a song.
And New Zealand, we better back her.
I know.
If I whiff a drop of tall poppy syndrome, I'm pushing you. I'm going to push you. I'm going to give you a big
Off something or just a little shove?
shove.
Yeah, just a shove.
You'll get a male gaze shove.
That's such a great sort of primary school type of aggression.
If you bring a
push.
fucking tall poppy syndrome, oh Lord, shove.
I've been listening to Solar Power on my walks in
An
Melbourne.
amazing album.
Yeah, I'm back in there.
I also am listening to Marlon's album so much.
Oh my god, it's unreal.
Now, come on now. Why isn't that playing all the time?
Come on now.
Come on now. It's an amazing album.
Beautiful. The production on it is unbelievable. There's
Singing
so
the
many
music.
cool touches.
I know. There's so many great songs in that.
Live at, is that Spark or is it
Yeah.
Civic?
Spark.
Hell yeah. That's
Hell
gonna be
yeah.
so sick.
Well, thank you so much for listening. I mean, short and sweet, but kind of informative and brilliant.
Yeah, and if you want to see Guy Montgomery in his underwear, please join us on the Substack.
And we'll be back to regular programming, I guess, next week.
Yeah, I guess so.
We love you all. I'm pretty sure.
Is that Michael arriving?
Oh, not yet.
Do we have time to do something backstage? Or
Oh,
not?
let's go backstage. We're going to go backstage. So what are we going to talk about?
Shall we get into... we didn't really cover our trip with Reese and Kyra.
Let's go into
but
it.
let's actually go into that.
And about the night. We should probably talk about a big door slam for the end of the podcast. You love to hear it.
I'm sorry, Mom. It's not a phase. It's the male gaze. They're both male.